Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. We're going to be going live or recorded with ourselves. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you're doing well out there, doing great, and having a good day so far. It is bright and early on what is today, Friday, the 20. No, is it Friday or Saturday? Saturday, the 25th. There we go. Today we're going to be talking about who's your favorite. And it doesn't matter what it is, it's who's your favorite in whatever. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. Oh, hopefully, again, you all are doing well out there. Again, I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you can hear me okay out there. I think everything's on and working like it's supposed to. We are recording for Facebook and YouTube right now as well. So, as many of you know, I am an artist, I am an actor, I'm a voice actor, I am a disabled veteran, and I am a homesteader as well. And if you didn't know that, now you're in the knowledge. And, what we do, we grow some exotic things here. And no, I'm not going to try it because I already did. This beautiful little guy right here. Boom, boom, boom. That is one of our Trinidad Scorpion. Hey, Dennis, welcome to the show, man. This is one of our Trinidad Scorpion peppers. I did try a sliver of this. It lit my ass up. The Scoville level on this thing alone is crazy talk. We are talking 1,200,000 to 200,000 Scovilles. If you know what that scale is, this is a super hot pepper. All right. I took a small sliver, not from this one, but from one that had some damage on it. And I started with the tip that was still green. Let's just put it that way. And whenever I tried the little tip, it just tasted like a bell pepper. Okay. And I tried two different pieces of it. Well, then I went up to the red portion of it right here on the edge and cut a little sliver. And I'm talking a sliver no bigger than less than this crystal right here. Okay. Smaller than this crystal. A lot thinner than this crystal as well. And gave it a shot. Instant heat. I'm talking super instant heat. This Serrano is a lot less of a Scoville scale than that scorpion pepper. But it was instant heat, and the closest I can come to it is the Packy Chip Challenge that I did. And the #2 world's hot seasoning. Can't call it a hot sauce because it's a seasoning in the world when I was in Texas, down on Austin Street. There was a hot sauce shop there. I can't remember what its name is. But that's the stuff I'm growing. I'm growing stuff that's that hot. Just because it's good in chilies and salsas and things like that. And you can tone down the heat a little bit by adding your fruits in it, like a peach salsa or a pineapple salsa or something like that. But if you go straight salsa and you put that in there, it's going to have a nice fire kick to it. And that's basically what we're growing stuff for, is to create salsas and things like that. Because I'm going to have a kiosk out front soon. Probably build it over the winter with all the extra reclaimed wood and things like that. So, but Dennis, no, I get it. Some people do not like the heat. As I get older, yeah, my body doesn't like the heat the way it used to. And I'm noticing, and I don't like it. Just because, I will test things because I want to know it. Like the Reapers that I've had, I've tried those. This is the first time growing a Trinidad Scorpion to fruition. Um, we've had plenty of plants. We bought plenty of plants. But and don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. And when you do follow, go ahead and hit that bell icon in the profile. That way you know when we go live and or post. And so that's the stuff I like, from ghost peppers to the Trinidad scorpions. We've tried growing many peppers here at the house at the homestead that just haven't produced. And this is the first year we've actually produced a Trinidad scorpion and a Trinidad scorpion that's this massive. I mean, this is huge. I mean, in pepper form. And I have three of them. I still have the third one. But I mean, these are gorgeous. I mean, these did what they were supposed to do what they looked like. You know, these are gorgeous. I mean, they're huge as well. So great salsa material right here, as well as the other ones, the serranos, the Cajun bells, and the bonnets that we've got, and things like that. Um, I've got so many different hot peppers that are coming up right now, and then I've got some new plants that are starting to put on blooms. So I'm excited. This whole new method of gardening, if you will, in the homestead. Thank you for the gifts out there, much appreciated. Always goes back into the printing process of our product. Yes, this is my product right here. Um, and so it's exciting to try new methods that actually work, because my tomato plants are over 7 feet tall. My pepper plants are reaching 6 foot tall. So, you know, whenever you're seeing that kind of progress, it gets you excited in the world of gardening. I know a lot of people could care less about gardening or homesteading or anything like that, but for us simple folk, that's what we like around here. All right. So, another side note, we got the girlfriend's car back up and running. Took the Didn't quite take the front end off again like we have in the past, but we did take a few things off, tie rods and things like that yesterday, and got her new tires on, and she's happy to have her car back again with AC, because the truck doesn't have AC currently. I got to get a new clutch for it, and then I'll be switching that out. But there's still some tinkering that we've got to do, because there's still a popping sound in there, and it's not cool. Um, got to figure out what that is. I'm taking it over to a friend's house who's got all the nice little toys, um, to fix cars, because he's always changing out his front end on his vehicle, because he goes rock crawling and mudding all the time in his what is it? Oh, whatever he's got. I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head, but he's out in it all the time, with his buddies doing rock crawling and things like that. So he's got all the cool toys. I do not. One of these days I will. Maybe when I get old. um, Getting ready to gut the old greenhouse that's attached to the shop and the garage out here, and we're going to turn that into a woodworking shop. So that'll be fun. Um, but it's going to take a lot of work, because we put a lot of work into creating a greenhouse effect in there. But now we're tearing it all down and going to make it more conducive to a woodworking shop. So that'll be fun. Looking forward to that. Got to get all that reclaimed dirt out of there, because we got to reuse it in the garden. Create a new garden bed, for winter gardening, around here. Got to get the greenhouse put up. We got a greenhouse that was given to us. We just had to take it down. I don't know where all the hardware is, so we're going to redo it a little bit more. You know, people can read that if you want to. That's cool. Um, we don't talk about politics or religion here, so that's a cool thing. I mean, if that's what you're into, and that's not a problem. People can read it, go find it, all that good stuff, for that Ellen White, event. And we talk about cool stuff around here. Because if it is that point in time, oh well, let it happen. Whatever happens, happens. Tomorrow and the next 15 minutes aren't promised to anybody. So that's why we always say, tell everybody that you know that's in your close circle that you love them, family, friends, things like that. Because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. And neither is the next 15 to 20 minutes. Nor is the next 5 minutes. I could croak right here on my show, you know, and then everybody be like, "Oh, you're such a great actor! Oh, yay!" And then they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, hey, I think something's wrong. Should we call the police or should we just keep watching?" Because that's the world today. Everybody pulls out a cell phone for something. Oh, look, somebody's getting their ass beat. I'm not gonna help, but I'm just gonna record it because that's society today. Everybody wants to be that internet famous. That next videographer that gets the hot topic right there. All right. So that's some of the things happening around here, around the homestead that is going on. And yeah, to see some people disappear into the sky, that would be quite nice because then there'd be more spaces for other people. Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get that. I get that. And then those that are left behind. If you ever watch the Left Behind movies and things like that, with Kirk Cameron and stuff like that, you would know all of that. Hey, what up, man? Hippie gone Harley. I got you. I got you. I'll go check out your stuff, and we'll see what we could do. Always, always interested in that type of a thing. Collaborations are always fun. They're always good. It's just like whenever somebody comes at me with new commissions and things like that. Oh yeah, yeah, we can do that. Whenever people come at me with commissions, ideas, and things like that, and I turn it into a piece of reality for them, well, I appreciate it. These are my paintings behind me right here. All these from my Bad Habits, the Naughty Nun series, Ozzy's, of course, Chester. Everybody knows Chester back here. And then all the other works of art that you see. Hellraiser right here. Both versions, the 2018. Well, I appreciate it. That's like I said. That's part of my Naughty Nun series. The Bad Habits is what I call it. And I've got 3 different paintings. I did have the other one up right here for the last show. Bum, bum, bum. And they glow under black light. So you can see the upside down crosses and the outline and the lips and the eyes and all that good stuff on her. And then I've got one more that I'll probably display the next show. You know, and as I always say, I'm in Arkansas. I'm in the Fort Smith, Arkansas area. The historic western town of Fort Smith. That gets Van Buren and Fort Smith get a lot of filming happening here when it comes to westerns and things like that. Um, they even close down parts of Van Buren and cover it with sand for horses and things like that. Well, absolutely. I'm always open to commissions. No, absolutely. The Little Hours or Little House on the Prairie. I don't know which one you're talking about right there. And so, as Confucius say, man who farts in pew. What does it say? What does he say? I can't remember now. You can go find that Confucius ism for that little problem that you're having right there. Probably Taco Bell, if I had to guess. Okay. Ah, okay. They have some bad habits. Okay, cool. Little hours. All right. Oh, absolutely, hippie. No problem there. Like I said, I'm always up for new commissions and new challenges. Because like I'm doing a huge 18 by 24 God of War piece. It's got a ton of action going on in it right now. I'm doing a lot of detail work in it right now in the chains and things like that that's happening. But all of the characters are the villains are hitting up on Kratos and a couple of other characters that this person likes. And then I've got another one for Perfect Dark that this same person has commissioned me for. I'm working on a logo for a book. I got to move Chester for just a second as I destroy everything. Right there. There we go, Chester. Sorry about that, buddy. Right here, Mr. James Bishop. Right here, I did the cover for this book, for this novel. And I'm getting ready to do his Sour Worlds logo, which I'm working on. And so it's going to replace the logo that goes over here. And then from there, I'm working on another book commission for another cover. And I appreciate that. But we do all kinds of stuff. I mean, when it comes to realism, to fantasy, to this bane in my ass right here, because the person still hasn't even paid half payment for it yet. Still, we've been talking about this one for months as a bane in my existence of an artist right now. Because this is actually a memorial piece for a friend of ours who passed away. He was her boss and I was her friend. And she passed away December of 25, the very last day thereof. And he wanted to do a memorial piece. Well, okay, cool. Let's get it going. Let's get it done. And him being the manager of this business, I figured he would have made timely payments. Um, but boy, was I wrong. And so I created this design because she's a Stitch fan and she was Wiccan, so she enjoyed her, White Witch side of things. And so I created Stitch Witch right here. I still got some more stuff to do. I just stopped working on it because I haven't even received half payment on it yet. So there's a few more pieces I need to do on this, but it'll happen once I get the final or get the half payment of it right there. Okay. Okay, cool, cool. And then we do stuff like this. Me as Wolverine. Yes, that's me posing as Wolverine from the iconic Wolverine cover number one. That's not what it was supposed to be originally, but that's what I turned it into just based off of a pose that I was doing for something else. And decided, hey, that looks reminiscent of something I remember. So I used the same T-shirt, all ripped up, the same pants, all ripped up, the same moon with the clouds going over the top of it, you know. And then, of course, there we have it, and I appreciate that. And then, from sketch covers on comic books and things like that, which this one's going to have Predator on it, which I did pose for, um, and he loved the idea so far. So I've got to get that one penciled in. So I am, you know, got quite a few pieces under my belt right now. So we will talk and go from there because like I said, I'm always interested in something cool and different and doing a, like you said, a Twilight Zone Tim Burton, and even my opening for um, the recorded section on Facebook and YouTube is a piece of the Twilight Zone with that spiral that turns into a cone as it disappears off into the sunset. That's my part of my opening uh, portion to my recorded side over there that I'm recording right now on OBS. And don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. Now, today's title is Who's Your Favorite when it comes to anything out there. From who's your favorite movie creator, director, who is your favorite artist, who is your favorite musician, who is your favorite person, you know. We all have those things that we tend to lean towards. Mine is the dark and spooky because, as we've said and heard here before, um, ever since I was a kid of the age of about 8 or 9, my first encounter with the darkness happened at my aunt's house when I saw the demon for the first time. And I've seen spooks and spirits ever since. I even live in a haunted house. We've got the evidence here on my channel, you know, and where literal pictures have flown off the wall. We've seen orbs happen through here. We've got voice phenomenon, EVPs that we've captured, pretty clear. Um, and so, I have been drawn to the dark and spooky ever since I was a kid. And I know people don't like that type of thing, and there's a lot of people that shy away from the dark and creepy and the demonic and other things of that nature. But I embrace it, you know, because it's part of life, it's part of nature. And it's like those of those people that believe in heaven, you've got to believe in hell at the same time. Good morning, Mr. Roy. Welcome to the show. About time you wake your ass up. You get into that coma sleep of that Brahms number 5. This might blow you away. Sergio Leone, the Ubermeister of spaghetti westerns. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, it doesn't blow me away at all. Um, he had a ton of spaghetti westerns, let me tell you. The ones that shy away scare me. What are they hiding? Well, the Vatican's been hiding a lot of things for years, but that's a whole different story. Um, but no, Dennis, that makes sense. In a way, you're of an older generation as well, so we'll air cheers to you as well too. We're talking about what's your favorite, who's your favorite, all that good stuff, from creators to movies to artwork to music. And we know that you are Mr. Roy. You are a big ACDC fan, and you are a lover of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Oklahoma Sooners. So congratulations there, as well as the Texas Rangers, um, and the Dallas Cowboys, of course, just like I am. And so that makes you good buds right there. And now, when it comes to artists, like I said, I've been drawn to the dark side of things. Kelly Jones, great dark artist. If you've ever seen any of his work on the Batman and things of that nature, Jim Ballant, another great talent. Joseph Michael Linsner, um, James O'Barr, from who created The Crow, and I mean Art Nichols. I mean the list goes on and on of artists that I could pinpoint, going back to the Renaissance and things of that nature. Leonardo, da Vinci and Monet and so on and so forth. Well, go look them up, kid. Go look them up. If you don't know them, you need to check them out. They're very cool people. Great artwork, great stuff like that. Do you know Damien Leone? Because if you don't, he's he's been in your face for a hot minute. Terrifier, Art the Clown, Damien Leone. No, I sure didn't. Oh yeah, William. Yeah, great photography. And there's a lot of great photographers out there that a lot of people just don't recollect who they is, just because they again don't know the names of these people. There's been a ton of great photographers out there throughout history. I mean, a lot of people love Warhol too. Again, you probably don't know who Andy Warhol is either. Um, you probably don't even know who. Okay, cool. So go check them out, please. I mean, seriously, great people. Ken Hunt is another one, great artist. Uh, from Jim Lee, Valentino. You've got Eric Larson. And I'm friends with a lot of these people. And then you got people like this that don't know any of these names because they're so young. Um, Rob Liefeld, I mean, is another one. I didn't like his stuff in the beginning, and you know, dude, it's not like I've got him on speed dial. All right, I'm friends with him on Facebook and other platforms, and yes, we chit chat periodically. I've even chit chatted with James O'Barr, the creator of The Crow, and not that crappy new shit that they've got out there now. Doctor Strangelove's another great movie. Or how to what is it? How to what was the other title for that one? Doctor Strangelove or how to dismantle the bomb or something like that. Another one of my campy favorite movies out there was Burial Grounds is the English name for it. And then you've got what its original name was, Le Notte del Torre, or The Night of Terrors. A great classic zombie film. It's pretty campy from 1981, Italian cult horror classic. A lot of you wouldn't know because again, you're not of that generation. Or how I love that. There you go. That's what it was. And then um, one of my all-time favorites, Patrick Nagel. Again, a name that you wouldn't know. Why would I take a picture? You make no sense. No, that's Ozzy Osbourne. Both of those are Ozzy. This is his younger days a little bit with his tattoos showing. And then that's a later version of Mr. Ozzy right there. But I do have Gene Simmons' work that I did on a skate deck that was complemented by another actor, C. Thomas Howell. Again, a name you don't know. And then you got Drippy Kid, who's about to find himself on the block side of things. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. On the side over here. Yep, Gene Simmons, all the Kiss figures right here, right here. And then you've got Mr. Ace Frehley down here on the ground, which I'm doing some reparations for. You're not speaking facts at all, dude. But yes, no, I have action figures over there. And speaking of, we found a whole bunch of Legos just yesterday. Cool, Bella. That's what we'd like to see. Yep, yep. He was at a convention that I was at one of the comic book conventions that I was at, set up as an artist in the artist gallery there. And he stopped by the booth and saw my Kiss skate decks, and he gave me a great compliment. He was like, I'd hate to see anybody, you know, ruin that great artwork by, grinding on those decks. And it was just like, thanks, sir. Much appreciated. It was like, no, you got great artwork. I love and appreciate the artwork as he went back to his booth. So there you go. Yeah, yeah, I got his autograph right like months before he passed on. Went to a show at a casino in Durant, Oklahoma, where he was performing with Queensryche, and got to meet him, got his autograph, and all that good stuff. So that was a cool moment. But yeah, Ace Frehley, great classic. Again, a name this kid doesn't know. Period. And it's just like Ozzy Osbourne. His passing was just a few days ago, a year ago, and everybody was like, "Wait a minute, it's been a year already?" Yeah, absolutely. So you know, we all have our favorites when it comes to things, and it all sets in motion things. Like right here, Clive Barker, the great Clive Barker, who has written many a great horror novel that has been turned into movies, from Hellraiser to, uh, well, the Cabal hasn't been, but Books of Blood has been, so on and so forth. But Clive Barker's been one of my favorite horror novelist authors of all time. And I see his game, which I don't know if he actually has any hand in it or not, is actually going to be finally getting a date of October 2nd, I believe it is, of this year, even though it's been in development for more than 3 or 4 years now. And they had a Kickstarter out, and people are still, we're still up in arms about not having a end date for it, but now it does, and everybody's happy again. Because they're like, well, when are we going to see a date when this is going to get released? Because it's a video game series based on Hellraiser, so apparently they've left in a lot of stuff right there, and that most game developers would have taken out. But this one, they are apparently leaving in a ton of stuff that makes it very dark and past rated R, if you will, but not quite to the other side of things, if you will, on that note. And if you know, you know. And of course, we got young ones in the crowd today that don't know anything about anybody other than, you know, like, what is it, Felicity or things on the CW. You know, if it's on the CW, this person probably knows who they are. Absolutely, 100%. Um, or they're going to tell you their favorite car, that type of thing, because that's all they can relate to. Now, oh, and they probably have a favorite food group as well, probably from Oscar Mayer or Chef Boyardee. So, well, I get that, especially with Beth. Great song. He had a great album when it came to them doing their solo albums, and him also doing a lot of vocals on the Kiss albums as well. So yeah, he Peter Criss is a great another voice that once it's gone, you know, it will be another sad day for everybody, because they're not getting any younger, just like none of us are, and none of us are getting out of life alive. So, good call, Bell. Good call. Good call. Um, but anybody that associates themselves with Mr. Beast has a problem already. So that's enough on him. Um, that's enough airtime for him. But no, Kiss has been one of those bands that a lot of people, you either love them or you hate them, and that's what it boils down to. Because I got some hardcore heavy metal fans and rock fans that can't stand Kiss. Period. But they've got a lot of great music out there. They had movies too, cartoons as well with Scooby Doo. Um, But one of my favorite albums was The Oath. That's when everybody was experimenting with the orchestras and the rock side of things, like the Who and who. There was several other bands that did this back in the day, and then of course Metallica did it later on in life, brought the orchestra in and performed with them. But there was a lot of classic rockers that did it way back in the day prior to that. Um, and so, it's like, who is your favorite? When it comes to certain things, we know who Bella's is. Obviously, she's a Kiss fan, and certain members of Kiss. Because then you've got, you know, Eric Carr, great drummer who took over Peter Chris's spot, who eventually passed away from cancer not too long after joining Kiss. Then you've got Bruce Kulick, who's been with the band for forever. I mean, so on and so forth. And I mean, the list goes on. My favorite band of all time, Guns N' Roses, hands down to me, one of the greatest bands ever. Especially when they had their original members back in the day, when they started as Hollywood Rose, you know, and then the list goes on and on of musicians that I enjoy. Because if I had to read my playlist of musicians, um, you'd probably be asking me who some of these people are. Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, absolutely, absolutely. The Eagles, I think, did too, at one point in time. But so many bands were experimenting back in the day with that orchestra and rock balance that it was pretty cool. But The Oath by Kiss was one of the best. Welcome, Casey, to the show. And he could give you some of his favorites out there, because what we're talking about. Fun fact: I had my last name as Peter Chris, and someone thought I was his. Oh, that's cool. See, Bella Freely. But Bella Freely right there tells me that you're an Ace Freely fan more over. Zeal and Ardor. Think you dig them? Okay, I'll check them out. There it is. There it is. No, let's use this one. Let's use this one. This one gets in my face a little bit more. Zeal and Ardor. Right there. All right, I'll check them out. And yeah, I'm into the heavy metal, the classic rock, of course, because everything is classic rock now, that I grew up on, as well as some of these other guys in here. And today, Casey, we're talking about who's your favorite. And it doesn't matter what genre of things, from music to movies to artwork to, what inspires you and who's your favorite. We've been talking about some great classic names that one person was having a problem with, uh, and thought I knew all these people, um, and thought I could just call them up on the phone like I was that close to them, even though we are friends on Facebook. And I do chit chat with a few of them on a regular, like Dan Fraga and James O'Barr and things of that nature, and a few others. But he was being a real kid of not knowing what he actually was here for. Genesis and Supertramp, and yes, great bands right there. Absolutely. Yeah, let me just call somebody up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it could be 2 o'clock in the morning for their time. Yeah, absolutely. Metallica, AC/DC, Queen, Youngblood, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper. That came from Bella. Yeah, I know you love Elvis. Here's the thing about Casey. Casey's a musician, great musician, fantastic, phenomenal musician, and he actually studied and met Elvis Presley, the Elvis Presley. So, you know, this is a guy that can inspire a lot of people right here. The superhero, Mr. Casey, right here. Um, and I've met a lot of musicians in the job lineups that I've done. Now I can't. No, sorry, kid, I can't call them up for you. Um, but as an escort, um, and not that kind. When I worked for Walmart, we went to the meetings. They had 3 meetings a year, and the one that I was always the escort for was shareholders meeting. You knew him the last 3 years of his life. There you go. See, that's cool. And I've met a lot of celebrities in my lifetime, because I was escorting them from the stage, and we would chit chat, you know. And there was a lot of cool ones. There was a lot of dicks out there as well. And this is musicians to actors and things of that nature. So I have met a lot of cool people, in my day. Then going to comic book conventions. Whoops, almost kicked this in the ground. Going to comic book conventions, starting in 2017, I met a lot of other cool people, you know, and so you have a sleep paralysis demon, Bella. Hold on, I need to read that now. Last question. I know it's a long shot, but would you mind performing a séance to get him to chat? No, I'm good. I do have a Ouija board here in the house. I do have two haunted dolls and a Divock box up here as well. The haunted doll, you can see his feet. This is Diego. He's an adjuster doll, and then the other one is directly behind the bad habits right there. Her name is Maribel, and she is sitting right next or standing right next to the Divock box. Um, Three haunted items in the house that I know of, and I probably have a few more that I don't know about. But sleep paralysis demons are terrifying because you're seeing everything happen around you, but you just can't move. And you can make them go away, Bella. You have that power because you can sever everything around you and make them go away. All in how you look at it. All in how you look at it. I know. How long have you been dealing with that? But Peter, Chris, yeah, great way to, you know, a rough breakup. I've gone through two divorces, and breakups are never easy, especially if they're a long term relationship. The two marriages I was in lasted 30 years. One was 18 years, almost 19, and the other one was 12 years straight. And since you were 12, and you're how old now? I know you're not supposed to ask a woman how old they are now, but I'm 53, 54. I'll be 55 here in September. So, but breakups, it. I understand you probably loved this person and you thought it was going to be your forever person, and then something happened. The only advice I can give you is keep moving forward. Don't dwell on the past. Um, you can. People are put in your path for a reason, and not everybody is meant to last in your season. If that makes any sense, because everybody is brought to us for a purpose, a teaching moment, a learning moment, all that good stuff. And so this paralysis demon has been with you since you were 12. And so I'm assuming that it's followed you from place to place. Sage your place. Leave one window open, sage your place, and then smudge after you have done a cleansing ceremony, making sure you get in the corners, the closets, all that good stuff. Um, Saging truly does help if you really want to get away from it. But no, I Mark Maruchin. I'm sorry. I know I'm butchering that name, but I apologize. That's not my intention. But no, it's we all go through some kind of a breakup in our life. Jobs, relationships, friends. I've had friends that I've known for years that have blocked me over some of the stupidest shit in the world, you know? And it's just like, okay, you're lost. It's not affecting me because, I forgave, forgot, and moved on with my life. Because if you're going to harbor any ill will towards somebody, that's just hurting you more than it's hurting them. Because most of the time, they've already moved on. And they could think about it from time to time. But if you're just sitting there dwelling on it, I'm listening to Ace Frehley help me too. Yeah, yeah, Ace Frehley's a good one too for any of that stuff. He had a lot of good stuff towards the end as well. Some great new albums, out there. Well, I mean, if your ghost hates Kiss, then just blare some Kiss and sage the house. That's what I would do. Sage the apartment, sage the house, whatever you're in. And it's like, I'm sorry that it scares you. See, I embrace the dark, like I said at the beginning of the show. And I live in a haunted house. So much so that I've got my ghost hunting equipment right here next to me. Um, I've got my video camera over here. I've got my cat balls. If you don't know what a cat ball is, this is a cat ball. It senses motion. You turn it on. You let it set till it goes off. I'll show you what it does. There, it's off now. And you see, I'm moving my hand, and it's not moving. Now it is because it didn't move in my hand. So that's what happens. Once motion hits this, it sets it off. Go ahead and turn it off. But I have these. I set these up periodically from time to time because Maribel has set it off before while it was laying right here next to me. Let me see here. Let me read what they said. She helped me with advice with boxing, and I'm so close to getting my first fight, but I can't focus. Okay, so you need to focus on the fight more than her. Um, in fact, I can get you in touch with a boxer, Mr. Larry Donald out there, a friend of mine. And yes, I could call him up right now, who I've done logos and things like that for, and some book work for him as well. Uh, and I can get you in touch with him, and he could tell you how to focus a little bit better. Um, because yes, people can help you focus, but it can also help you lose focus in the ring, especially if you're getting close to your first fight. When I see it, it's all black with realistic eyes. Okay, that's a different one. I'd have to look into that one because most people see um, the shadow figures or full body apparitions without eyes. You know, I've never seen a ghost, but I wish my cat would come back as a ghost. I get that. I've seen plenty. Yes, absolutely. 11 Bravo. Yep, yep. I was National Guard, but I was active duty my entire stint, pretty much. There was only like 6 months that I wasn't active duty status in my 6 year career with the military and disabled veteran here. So yes, BDC2 or BD2C. There you go. 11 Bravo, which is infantry, 45th Infantry. Followed in my grandfather's footsteps and went from there. The only regret I have is not doing it out of high school. I was 33 when I joined, and that's basically when most people are retiring from the military. You know. Okay, I will hook you guys up. To be honest, he's on Facebook. His name is Larry Donald. You can go to my. I believe I've got my Facebook attached to my profile up here, and U.S. Air Force, cool. Well, I mean that you retired from it, and that's awesome. My nephew is going to retire from the Air Force. He's doing a lot of cool things in there, um, search and rescue, and all kinds of other cool stuff, Halo jumps, and he's just having fun with it. You know, my son would have retired from it too. I'm sure if he hadn't passed away in 2009 at 17 years old, because he had already joined to be a combat medic and then he ended up passing away on an ATV accident. So uh, he didn't get to fulfill his military dreams or his life goals of becoming an EMT as well as a firefighter. So, which again would have followed in his great grandfather's footsteps, my grandfather. And yeah, my grandpa, he was a great legacy in the military when it came to it, Korea and World War II. So, and it was a great career for me as well. I met a lot of great friends in the military, and whenever new people come on that were ex-military or retired military, um, I have no problems with what branch you served in, because military is military. You did something that other people were not willing to do, and I don't know if you ever saw action or anything like that. I'm Well, congratulations. I guess my sister was too until she was killed by a drunk driver. So sweet. There you go. How do I find the guy on Facebook? His name is Larry Donald. Larry Donald. Uh, he's a great guy. Does a lot of great things. He's traveling right now, and I know he does training as well. But if you go to my page and search my friends, because I don't think my friends are locked there, you can find him under Larry Donald, Larry, and Donald, like Donald Duck. So should be able to find him pretty easy. And you can tell him I sent him your way. And the name is Monty Anderson here at 412 Productions. He knows me pretty well. We used to work together when he worked on the Walmart side, asset protection as well. Because it's a passion. We talk about artwork, we talk about horror, we talk about everything. And I have over 5,000, by the way. I'm at 5,500 actually. So you're a little under your numbers there, bud. So, Chris, why do you come on and attack people on their own show? There's your question that should be asked. Because if you aren't living life, what are you doing? I'm an artist, from actor to voice actor to illustrator, you know? And that's why I do what I do. And I'm giving you a simple answer. Because I have fun with life. I'm a homesteader, I'm a disabled veteran, I'm an illustrator, again, an actor, a voice actor. And, we talk about cool stuff here. We talk about horror movies, sci fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic books, and things of that stuff. So, well, thank you for taking care of the veterans on your side. Because, the VA gets a bad rap when it comes to how they handle service members. And I haven't had an issue with the VA since I've joined it back in 2022. And, I've heard so many bad stories about, the wait times, how they've been treated, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there's a few bumps in the road. And when it comes to how many different appointments you have to go to in different areas. Like I've had to go to all the way up to Little Rock, which is a 3 hour trip. I've had to go all the way to Tulsa, which is a 3 hour trip from where I'm at. And we have a great facility here in Fort Smith that was just built, in the past few years. And it broke away from what used to be Baptist Hospital here. And, but I haven't had a real issue with the VA period since I joined, and they've been great to me. And you make your appointments, and you go to your appointments, and you do your video appointments if that's what they're at. And yeah, it's definitely getting better over time. I know they had a hard time filling doctor spots here at this local one that just got built. So, you know and it's like, I just don't see the issue that a lot of people have. But I can see the issue because I do see some people that are sitting in there for a lengthy period of time, and I'm in and out, and they're still sitting there. So, I know there's some issues and some hiccups and things like that, but you can't blame the people that are working at the facility because it's things are going to happen, you know. But everybody's going to gripe about something. Everybody has a complaint. Everybody doesn't like everything, and you can't please everybody, no matter what you do. So it's just like the kid that was on here earlier, that was wanting me to call people at 4 o'clock in the morning, which in some people's cases it could be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, depending on which coast they're on. You know, and it's just like reality to some people. It's like doesn't really exist. They live in this fantasy loop somewhere out there that just because you name some people that are your favorite people that you have grown up on or have followed their artwork of, like Patrick Nagel. If he was still alive, I would want to know him personally, 100%. You know, and if he was on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and everything else, I would be following him and talking to him on a regular basis because he had such awesome artwork back in the day and back in the 70s and 80s. His work is featured in Playboy. His work is featured on Duran Duran's albums. You know, I mean, the list goes on and on where his stuff has been seen. It's just like Olivia Dubois. Her stuff is she's got card series. She's been in comic books. She's been on heavy metal. She's been in Playboy as well. Louis Bellagio and Boris. No, it's Boris and Julie Bellagio is who it is, and the Hildebrandt brothers. I mean, such fantastic works of art in the more modern side, fantasy realm, comic book realm. Joe Jusko, great painter, you know, did the stuff for John Carter, Warlord of Mars, and tons of other things as well. But Vampirella, Joseph Michael Linsner. I am I actually talked to him on Facebook. You know, the creator of Dawn, which I did a card set with, because being an illustrator, you get to do some cool shit. You know, like create official cards for AMC's The Walking Dead. You know, or bum 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 Stranger Things, and these have to be approved by not only Netflix, but they also have to be approved by a lot of the actors. Yes, yes, Boris did some Vampirella as well, out back in the day. Great artist. Chaos Comics again had to be approved by Dynamite Entertainment's crew, and then of course Joseph Michael Linsner's Dawn 30th anniversary. You know, I talked to him and his wife when it comes to artwork and things like that because they're just cool, down to earth people. Just like James O'Barr, I talked to him on Facebook, and he still remembers me from buying his eBay Tiny Dancer. It's a ballerina piece, is what it is, where she's on the ground, looking up at the camera, and he even wrote a note. Let me read that note for the kid since he's not here anymore. That came with the artwork. It says, thanks, Monty. Good to see there's still a market for classy, good girl art. Best to you, James O'Barr, 2009. Right there. Handwritten note from James O'Barr to me. There you go, kid. And, just like back here. Right there. Right there. Adam West. All three autographed signings right there. The top one is the March 11th, 1966 Life cover magazine that says Mad Mad World on it. It's got him featured on the cover. Next is the theme album that has the Batman theme from the 1966 Batman. And then this is the regular Adam West autograph picture right there, all autographed to me as I met him back in the 90s, since he was brought into Oklahoma City by Rock 100.5, The Cat, which I think is still around, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't listen to them anymore on that side of the field because I'm not over on that side of the fence anymore. But cool guy. He actually sat there and flipped through the Life magazine, and left his fingerprints all over that magazine right there. So, Elvira, autograph pictures over here. Kate Beckinsale and, oh my God, her name just left me. Jennifer Love Hewitt. There you go. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that I have met or have gotten autographs of who are some of my favorite people. Now, do I know all these people personally? Absolutely not. It's not like we hang out at the club or at the bar or go to dinner on a regular basis. You can have your favorites and know their names and not have their phone number. Because social media is a wonderful thing there, buddy, um, where you can reach out to people and talk to people on a regular basis. I have regular conversations with Ken Hunt, a great comic book artist, who's in the industry of Marvel and DC and things of that nature, but he's also doing his own works under his own title of comic books and things like that. Yeah, it's taken him a bit because he does such detailed work with his stuff. And then James O'Barr, like I said, we chit chat periodically. Joseph Michael Linsner, like again, we chit chat regularly. Dan Fraga, Morant Michaels. I mean, these are some of the names of the people that I talk to. Not on a daily basis, but periodically. We chit chat. Now, am I of the same talent as them? Absolutely not. But is my talent any less than theirs? Absolutely not. I get commissions on a regular basis. In fact, I just picked up another one via TikTok as of last show. Now, you do wish people would follow through, like the person that wanted this card, the Shiva card from the Walking Dead series. Whoops, right there. That has yet to claim the card. So it's still in my stack of Walking Dead cards. Right here. Boom, boom, boom. And you wish people would follow through the way they say they will. But sometimes they don't. Now, is that a forgetful thing? Potentially. Is it a on purpose thing? Sometimes. But most people don't have ill intent most of the time. Now you do get the jerks and the idiots that come on and try to disrupt shows and things of that nature because oh you this, oh you that, oh that, oh I'm this, I'm that, and I got this and I got that. Who cares? Who cares? I'm here to spread a little cheer bright and early in the morning by talking about some cool things. Artwork, autographs, your favorite people, from artists to musicians to directors to, I mean, the list goes on and on of what could be your favorite. You could love sushi over steak. You know, you could love your Brahms number five with nothing on it except for the meat and cheese and some condiments over a jalapeno bacon burger. This right here, this is my drawing glove. It keeps the pencil from smudging around your paper. what it's there for. And I know a lot of people don't know. And I've been asked about this many, many times. They were like, "Did you hurt your hand?" No, this is for drawing purposes. I actually need to fix this one because it does have a hole in it as much as I've used it. And I do fix my own stuff. Um, no, I get it. I get it, Chris. It's all good. Um, I've been asked about it many, many a times. So you're not the first. So it's all good. It's all good. And two, whenever I'm using my digital stuff to color and draw stuff with on my tablet, this also keeps, I guess, the flesh from touching the screen. And oh no, you're welcome. You're welcome. And that way, it doesn't switch you back and forth into different places while you're drawing with digitally and things like that. And so, yeah, no. I've been asked about it many and many times because people have thought I had an injury. And no, if I've got an injury, it's going to be not this gentle. Like when I punched the wall many, many times over and ended up breaking uh, this knuckle right here, and my hand swelled up really nice. Um, yeah, that was just not too long ago, probably about a month ago. No, it would be full fingers, and it would be sequenced, and that's not my thing. That's your thing, Roy. You've got that glove. I've seen it, and your sparkly shoes to go with it. So yeah, it wasn't my brightest moment. Um, because I was chasing one of my chickens because it didn't want to go into the coop like it was supposed to, and we had put an awning on for the pigs on the back porch to keep them out of the sun and stuff like that. And then there was another off board that was holding the lower piece, and I was focused in on the chicken and ended up busting my head on that piece of board, and it pissed me off, and I flew into a little bit of a rage and just punched the house like 5 times straight. Not, I'm talking full force, not giving up, not, not, people, how you hear people say that I threw a punch, you know, and meaning, or pulled a punch, not threw a punch, pulled a punch. No, there was no pulling a punch. This was full on, just pound town on the side of the wall, and it's cedar siding, so thick 1 inch cedar, and it didn't give at all, and neither did I. But it was not one of my finest moments, to be honest, and I've said that many times. I even told it to my therapist, the VA therapist that I see, and and they were like, "What do you think is broken?" I was like, "Well, if it is, the hospital is going to tell me to basically ice it, wrap it, and stop hitting shit." So, I didn't go seek medical attention for it. I doctored myself, you know, because you already feel bad enough whenever you're flying to that bad of a rage. Um, PTSD will do that to you. But yeah, not my finest moment, and I haven't. So that helped me not go to the gym for a little bit, which I'm gonna get back into that. So get back to my 300, bench pressing again, which I was close before I broke my hand, broke my knuckle. So I was sitting at about 230 on the bench. So getting back up to that 300 bench press. So I'll get there again. I'll get there again. And again, I'm 54, so I have to slow down a little bit. No, I don't. No, I don't. Nah, nothing to be out there about. It's all good. Life is life. You live it, you love it, or you don't. Um, I know a lot of people that complain about everything around every corner, and I look at it and it's like, how do you even exist if that's all you do is just complain about every little thing that happens? When most of the time it's our own fault for whatever happens. Now, there's outside sources like when you're driving, you get hit by somebody, or, you know, something happens out in the world that you weren't expecting, but we control ourselves. We can't control what other people do. So we make the choices that we make on a regular basis. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. It's just like procrastination, meaning you put off today what could have been done for a later date, like doing the dishes, sweeping up a mess, mopping the floor. Oh, I didn't feel like doing it today, so I didn't. Well, then it starts to build up. So eventually it becomes a mess. That's like, oh my God, I've got to clean this up because this is horrible. Just like my office. I'm getting ready to expand it out 100 extra feet. It gives me more workspace for paintings. I'm hoping to lift it up a little bit higher so I can bring in my 8 foot tall painting that I haven't worked on in 3 years. My life size Boba Fett. It's a 8 foot tall by 4 foot 8, I believe, hand stretched canvas that I built and prepped it. Got the main figure drawn on it, Boba Fett, which is going to have some more elements around it. Um, but I've got no space to work on it because none of my roof space is 8 foot tall. So I'm hoping to lift this roof up, at least on this back side over here where the refrigerator is. No, it's out in the shop. It's about, I mean, it's near, but it's about 200 feet away. I I've got pictures of it out there, I believe on my Facebook page or Instagram as well. But yeah, it's 8 foot tall, and I can't fit it in here because of my ceiling space. So I'm gonna have to raise the roof, literally raise the roof at its pitch, and use the backside over here for that space because I'm gonna create a excuse me, I'm gonna create a painting space, and yeah, I'll get pictures of it and post on here, Chris. Absolutely, and can even send you a picture of it. I'll probably do that once the sun comes up because there's no light in my shop. So I know there's going to have to be some touch up spots and things like that because it's been, like I said, it's been sitting for 3 years now. Once I before or after I started working on it, because that's when I was getting a divorce, and 4 years ago in 2022, and so that was the last time I actually worked on it. So it's been 4 years since I worked on it, and it's just been moved from spot to spot. Oh well, I got some cool artwork on that. I got some T-shirts and things like that. I actually that he's not been the most requested Star Wars figure that I've drawn. Darth Vader, some Princess Leia's, um, some Luke Skywalkers, but Boba Fett, he's only been requested like 2 times, you know, to be drawn. He's a cool character, absolutely. I don't know if you're watching the whole Mandalorian series as well, or the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus. Um, yeah, he was shunned in the Mandalorian movie because even the actor was like, "Yeah, I wanted to be in the Mandalorian and Grogu, but it didn't happen." So, but yeah, he's always been a fascinating character since, and they unfortunately changed his name of his ship because it was too derogatory of a name for people out there. His ship, Slave One, um, in the original series, the 70s and 80s version, um, always been a character that people drew to, even whenever he got pulled down into the pit, of 1,000 years, um, where it digests you or eats you for 1,000 years, whatever. I think he ended up escape. Supposedly he escaped out of there, but I don't know. That's the later story, you know. So, but yeah, no, he's always been a cool character, just like Bosk. Bosk is another fascinating character that I wish they would have done more with, one of the bounty hunters there. The little reptilian looking guy, little yellow skin guy, yellow greenish skin. He was also a cool, fascinating character that I wish they would have done a lot more with. Now they did do a lot more in the comic book side with Bosk than that. 28.3 thousand likes puts us in the popular live category. So much appreciated to all of you that have liked, shared, and or sent gifts in. That is much appreciated to us. But yeah, Bosk is another cool character. I'm going to be drawing him up. Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and then I kind of just stopped watching it. Um, Binge watching Game of Thrones right now. Season 3, getting close to season 4. So I'll be finishing up that season pretty soon. Because I think it's Game of Thrones, what? 8 seasons? 9 seasons? Something like that? I could be wrong on that. It could have been less, but I'd have to go look. Yeah, I didn't lose interest. I just got busy doing other things. Star Wars is the national epic of America. Yeah, I mean it's got its draws. Have you seen the Vikings? I've seen episodes of the Vikings. I haven't watched it completely, but it is Vikings. I'm pretty sure it was on AMC or one of those channels that brought it to life. But yeah, the Vikings. I heard it was good, and like I said, I'd seen some episodes, but I never just watched it fully. It was like Dexter. I never really got into Dexter until The Girlfriend, and then we binge watched the entire series, of Dexter plus all the other ones once they came out. Um, Great show, absolutely 100%. Waiting for the next season to come out of Resurrection. But yeah, Vikings is the name of the show. And then Him is another one. I think it was Him. Is that what it was called? No, You. You is what it was. And it's another great psychological thriller horror series about a serial killer. I've used serial killer on here before, but then I sometimes you get flagged. It just depends. Um, Great TV show all the way around on that one. Well written and thought provoking on it all. And then you just get so many different TV shows that you can't watch them all. Absolutely, I've got plenty of stuff on my to watch list on several different streaming channels that I have, and it's just like, yeah, I'm never gonna get to all these. And some of them are leaving soon, so I'll watch those first before I get to anything else on there. So, but yeah, there's just shows that you just lose interest in, and Mandalorian was one of them. So, with the Chesapeake something, not sure what you're referring to there. Oh, the Ripper gene or Ripper. Yeah, Ripper. I think it was called Ripper as well. But yeah, there's that one out there. Yeah, there's a lot of horror TV shows that I enjoy watching that I haven't watched yet. There's several that I've watched that were great, and then there's some that I haven't even watched yet. Welcome to Deary is one that I want to get into. Everybody says it's really good. Of course, it's the beginnings of, you know, Pennywise and all that good stuff of it. Um, the prequel to showing you how he came about in the beginning, anyway. And then I wish Clive Barker would come out with a series, to be honest, that he has his hand in. Because Hellraiser 1 was the only one he had his hand in the beginning. None of the rest of them did he ever touch or help with. You know, and then of course he had his other shows, Books of Blood, which I'm not sure he had his hand in that one either, but he did have his hand in Nightbreed, another great one. Showed his creative visions there. Uh, he's got a lot of great artwork as well. Do I know him personally, kid? No, I don't. Would I want to? Absolutely. Um, when it comes to Ripper, there's a lot of Jack the Ripper type movies and TV shows based on the lore of Jack the Ripper, which we all know isn't lore, it's truth, but they never caught the killer. Um, some say they had him in custody many times over. Some say, he was a very prominent doctor in town back then. So, but when it comes to Ripper movies, there's a lot of good ones out there. And there's a lot that explore the trying to figure out who he is side. Because there was so many different theories: a butcher, a doctor, a scientist, many different things that they were speculating back in the day of who he could have been, just because of the precision cuts that he left and things that were missing, if you will. So yeah, no, a lot of great Ripper movies out there, and there is I'm pretty sure there is a TV show based on it, and many movies based on it. So if you're into the Ripper stuff, you can find anything you want on that note out there. So, but yeah, good conversation today, even with the interruptions out there from a certain someone, a couple of certain someones out there, and great stuff. You can leave a comment on who is your favorite. Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's no different than following any of the serial killers of today, if you will, of the modern day time frames. Because we did a whole show on serial killers it was a couple months ago or maybe a month ago. And we talked about, going back as far back as, BC and AC and or AD and BC time frames with some of your OG serial killers up to your modern day, and what we talked about, how people get pen pals and become pen pals with the serial killers and then end up marrying the serial killer while they're in prison. And it makes no sense to me. You just want that internet famous that quick, or you want to be that famous that fast. And I guess the Roy's going to go eat him a bunch of sandwiches and go to sleep. Call it a day. Go nappy nap time when the sun's about to come up, you know. But we are going to kill it for today, folks. It's been a great show all the way around. We've been on for almost an hour and a half already, which is awesome. And we do it because there's a passion for it. That is why. And like I say, as we leave you guys every time, you too, man. Chris, I'll send you a picture of that Boba Fett when I get it. Like I said, it'll be during the daylight hours, normal people hours, other than us vampires. But all right, man, no problem. Thank you, Chris, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and the banter that has happened. And even though there was some disruptions earlier, it wasn't horrible. He didn't get banned, so there you go. There's been plenty of people that have gotten banned just for lesser things. But you guys have a great day, and as I like to say, as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.